What made you realize your best friend was actually a complete butthole? I started to realize that they only ever talk about themselves. They rarely ask me a question, but then cut me off while I'm answering to make it about them. Same. When it got to the point that they had no idea what was actually going on in my life on top of everything only ever being about them, I realized I had no idea why I was friends with them anymore. Did you try telling them about this? I'm not sure if you've been friends for very long, but a long time, 5+ years, friend pointed out that I was doing this while going through some depression anxiety. I quickly apologized and made an effort to change the behavior. Same here, and I'm so glad my friend pointed it out. It's easy to become self-centered when you're going through depression. When she threw a fit after I said something along the lines of, "If he cheats on his wife with you, what do you think is going to stop him from cheating on you with someone else?" This truth is very hard for people. An ex-friend tried to get me to take sides when her husband cheated. We were over when I said, "Didn't he cheat on his first wife with you?" I had a similar thing happen. A longtime friend spent part of the evening talking at length about how bored and miserable she was, raising small children in a semi-rural area. These were all choices she'd made, but I made sympathetic noises. Then she pulled out her phone and tried to hook up with a guy she'd been talking to earlier that evening. I'd known her husband longer than I'd known her. I helped set them up, regrettably. Yet somehow she thought I'd be okay with having to keep that secret. The self-pity fest had been meant to soften me up, apparently. Sorry, but no, I'm not supportive of lies and betrayal. Looking back on it, a red flag was when they insulted my mother's cooking. My family isn't very wealthy, but my mother does her best, and she had worked hard to make that meal so they wouldn't be hungry. And then they just insulted it. Also, they never said thank you. Unless it's got worms in it, you just don't say anything bad about a meal someone took the time and care to prepare for you as a guest. And it wasn't even as simple, "I didn't like it very much." They straight up made fun of my mom and called her a terrible cook, which, by the way, she isn't. I was a bit of a useless kid and, to be honest, didn't like some of the food my parents cooked, but I'd like to think if I had a friend round that insulted her cooking, I would have slung them out pretty quickly. Man, I'd be livid by this. Hope you cut them off. Basic manners. Nothing wrong with not being a fan of some food, but to talk down on someone when they worked hard to cook for you is scumbag crap. He and his brother destroyed an apartment we shared. Some $30,000 in damage, then tried to come after me for it. How the F do you destroy an apartment? Living room carpet stains and rips, holes in the walls, damaged blinds. Kitchen holes in the walls. Bedroom 1 stained carpet, more holes, closet door track broken. Master bed, bathroom. Toilet tank was shattered, growing slime. Sink was full of black water, curtain rod was bent in curly Q. Faucet was crushed and bent. Shower head was smashed and kinked. I was signed off the lease after the first tantrum, still have that paper a decade on. He walked up and told me the amount they assumed I owed. 1/3 of the damages. I found and produced the paper we had all signed 2 or 3 months before. The complex had my back, and paperwork supported me. I assume they got it handled. I've moved out of town, and I don't have contact anymore. I lived in a rent and individual room but have communal living room and kitchen once, and the roommate I had was not concerned with being clean. Once he was playing Halo in the living room and knocked over a near full 2-liter of soda and just made no effort to even pick it up, just let it slowly drain on the carpet. I was on good terms with the office, so no hit to me, but damn dude. I was going through a really ugly breakup that left me in a very low point in my life. I was getting a lot of advice from my best friend on the whole situation. I told him that it would take time for me to get over her, as it was a relationship of over 2 years. 3 days after the breakup, I check Snap Maps and see that he is at my ex's apartment. It was 2 in the morning. He initially lied about it, but then admitted to hooking up with her. I started crying over the phone and he literally said, "I just want you to know that I'm sorry this is hurting you, but I'm going to continue doing this with her." Edit. Thanks for the kind comments, everyone. This was 5 years ago and I am doing great now. I have some great friends and I'm with the woman of my dreams as addressed in another comment. They ended up getting together, moved away, got married, then divorced. He lives by himself on the other side of the country now. Yeah, I've always assumed that they started talking while I was still with her. I'm aware that my ex was also at fault here. She was a piece of shit for getting with my best friend right after our breakup. I've just been cheated on before, so I guess it was easier for me to cope with that. But my best friend of 20 years doing that? That hurts more than any breakup I've ever had. I lost my best friend of 22 years over that. It's crazy to me that one day, a friend who was a brother to me, just snapped and ignored me in a really dark state of mind just so he could get laid. I learned recently that you can forgive someone and not let them back in your life. My falling out with my best friend would take far too long to write. We were friends for over 30 years, when I realized he wasn't a friend to me anymore. It took a while, but these days I hope he's doing well. I don't need him in my life, but I hope he's doing well even though he was pretty shitty to me at times.